Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem El Shai Bashem Rakakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 the rest of you elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video. I'm going to try to make this super quick. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, this is why we keep putting up videos on this subject, or this particular subject. And you should know what subject I'm talking about, and keep putting up them videos. So we were listening to, after the camp, we were listening to, but normally it's General Nathaniel. He's no longer bishop, he's a general. And I showed you the picture if you watch my last two videos that I made a couple of hours ago. So he's General Nathaniel, I guess. Sometimes he's a bishop, sometimes he's an elder, sometimes he's a general. So I don't know if he's officially a general now. He's in competition with General Yohana. Most High is dealing with apostles, prophets, teachers, pastors, evangelists. Not necessarily generals. Generals is normally a physical army of men. So another gimmick that I see. Anyway, so we were listening and we realized that General Nate wasn't on there. That Yahweh Sab. So now is Yahweh Sab a bishop, or is he a major? I don't know. So anyway, this is why we put up these videos, constantly put up these videos on this subject. And because I believe Yahweh Sab did this video, maybe because the last week past, maybe the last 2 weeks, we've been putting up a lot of videos on the MOTB. I put up a couple of them. Got to keep that vibration going, because that's the next big major prophecy before the deliverance and the destruction in the kingdom of heaven. So it's going to be 4 prophecies. The MOTB, major prophecy, deliverance, destruction, 2 major prophecies. Deliverance and then destruction, or destruction, then deliverance simultaneously, then the kingdom. And when we get in the kingdom, we're not, it says, for we shall forever be with the Lord. So the Gog and Magog is not going to attack us in the kingdom. 1,000 years. Bishop Nate, I don't know if he still teaches that. I believe he stopped teaching it because when we got on him, he realized that it was foolish for him to say it or to teach it. But maybe he does. Maybe he does. But he did a class maybe 3 months ago. About 3 months ago, maybe more, 3 months and a half ago, he did a video on Gog, Magog, that we're going to be attacked by Gog after the 1,000 years. And he read Revelation chapter 20, verse 4, the 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years, Gog is going to come and take, because he doesn't understand how to fully break down the understanding of Revelation chapter 20. It kind of jumps around. Okay, the first 2 verses, first 2-3 verses go hand in hand with the 7, 8, 9 verse. So it kind of jumps back. The 1,000 years in Revelation 20 verse 4 is different from the 1,000 years that the dragon is going to be loose. It said that it's going to be loose. So, and it was the 8th verse. So if you were thinking, you would say, well, wait a minute, that has to be talking about, let's go back to the first verse, the first 2 verses. Actually, the first verse. So anyway, when we heard this from Yahweh Sab, we said pretty much he's a parrot. Actually, Apostle Kabar said he's a toad, because we're telling them the truth, and they're gonna be confronted by this prophecy, the MOTB, the mark of the beast. They're gonna be confronted by it. And everybody on the planet Earth will be tested. That's why we keep putting videos up on this subject. So he put a video, so I got to put another counter video on it, because, hey, when that happens, and it's going to be a major thing. It's going to be a major thing, because it's going to be more talked about than this Karagma, the sea ragamuffin and the jump shot and all that. Because they found out, how many people are with it, how hard is it going to be to push this thing. That you can say that the jump shot was like a trial run. Now, the WHO, the World Health Organization, and whatever the WHO says, the CDC says, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they have to be in lockstep because the CDC is under the jurisdiction of the WHO, the WHO. So the head of that, which is he's a Cushite, but he looks kind of like Elam, but he's a Cushite. He's the head of that, but he gets a script, just like every other politician or leader of a country. They all get scripts. So he declared an international emergency with the POX, okay? And people are kind of, oh, okay, here we go again, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're going to see what's going to happen with this thing. So let's just listen. Like I said, I'm not going to make this long.
We're about to send them back now. The transport bus is ready to take us behind back to jail. Read on.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So the life that they gave Charles Manson was the life of Jesus Christ. Made you think that...
You see that money that's rolling in? That's an app. They're money rolling in from people that are not even a part of IUIC. These are regular slave names. $50 here, $50 there, $25 there, $150 here. And these same people I see, if they're not of the elect, when they make the micro-C hip mandatory, they're going to ask, oh, can we take it or not? Now we're going to see what the answer is going to be from the leadership of the IUIC. Now, if they say, no, there's nothing wrong with it, it's not the MOTB, you can go ahead and take it, then we know what's what. All right? That's when you're going to know who the prophets are, as opposed to who the false prophets are. Because if they say take it when it comes out, which it can be 6 months from this point. So we're almost in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Talking about maybe spring, anywhere up until springtime. My assessment is not a vision. Because made a jump up seat to hard said he had it, adding words, putting words in my mouth. When that comes, we're going to find out who are the chosen men or prophets of the Most High. Let's listen more on.
That this was Jesus. That's the image of the beast. Read.
That the image of the beast should both speak.
How does this image speak? They put it in your movies. Put it in your cartoons. They find an actor look just like this and say, this is Jesus. And here's your kids in Christianity talking about, oh, Jesus said, love the little children. And it's Charles Manson. Got nothing to do with Jesus. Read.
And cause...
Yeah, that's how he speak. Talk about the passion of the Christ. And all of the actors look just like this thing here. Because that was an image of Cesare Borgia. That's not an accident. They can't get just a regular white man. They got to look a particular way to mimic Cesare Borgia. Look him up. Read.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Meaning, if you don't worship the white man Jesus, they say you're going to hell. That's what they tell you in your Christian, your dope houses called Christian.
The image represents the beast system, the Roman Empire, 2,000 years before.
In churches. Read. What verse you in?
That was verse 15.
Read. Come on.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
That's what I was talking about earlier. In their right hand and in their forehead. Meaning to do sin and think sin. That's all it's talking about. Ain't talking about some microchip. That bull crap out of your head. Ain't no mic. Ain't talking about some microchip. Bull crap out of your head. Ain't no microchip gonna make you sin. People stupid as hell. Crap out of your head. Talking about. Ain't talking about some microchip. That bull crap out of your head. Ain't no microchip gonna make you sin. People stupid as hell. The white man puts a thought in your mind to make you think that sin is pleasurable. And you end up thinking it and you end up doing it. That's the mark being in your head and in your hand.
So based upon that, what he just said, the Apostle Paul had the mark of the beast. The Apostle Paul had the mark of the beast. Because he said in Romans chapter 7 that he did sin. He said that he sinned. It said, it's not me that doeth it, but sin that dwelleth in me. But he did commit the act of sin. So that means, so if you happen to roll up on member of the IUIC, ask him, did the Apostle Paul take the MOTB? Which it was told not to take it after the Apostle Paul was beheaded. I'm gonna let this play a couple times.
To make you think that sin is pleasurable. And you end up thinking it and you end up doing it. That's the mark being in your head and you will make you sin. People stupid as hell. Bull crap out of your head. That's all it's talking about.
Receive a mark in their right hand.
What verse you in?
That was verse 15.
Read. Come on.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
That's what I was talking about earlier. In their right hand and in their forehead. Meaning to do sin and think sin. That's all it's talking about. Ain't talking about some microchip. That bull crap out of your head. Ain't no microchip gonna make you sin. People stupid as hell. The white.
They're talking about us. We're saying we're stupid because we're making that statement. We're going to see how stupid we are. Let me bring it back again. And like I said, I believe these guys and took the bag. GMS made a 20 videos this week on the MOTB. We're going to have to speak on the MOTB because you got a lot of window shoppers out there. Let me see. Let me bring it back. So you can read it now, just in case you're hard of hearing.
Hell, that's what they tell you in your Christian, your dope houses called
the
white man Jesus. They
worship the image of the beast. Speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Meaning, if you don't worship the white man Jesus, they say you're going to hell. That's what they tell you in your Christian, your dope houses called Christian churches.
Okay, so if you don't go to hell, they teach the same thing. They teach that there's an actual hell that you burn in forever, and that includes Israelites. How can one Israelite burn in hell when they come from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, made the promise, the covenant, the contract with Abraham, saying that his seed will be blessed. Through thy seed shall all the families be blessed. All the families are representing all the families that came out of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which are all the sons, the men children of Jacob. Not one of them is going to be lost. And through thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. All the families of the earth that will be blessed are the families of Israelites. If your father's an Israelite and your father's father's an Israelite and your father's father's is an Israelite, go all the way back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're not going to burn in hell. So he said that's a scare tactic. He didn't say that in those words, but let's bring this back again. See, now we analyzing a lot of things. We go through different videos and we analyze and we psychoanalyze. Because we're the sentinels. We're the people on the watchtower. We're the watchmen. And by the way, Caviezo is Italian, so he could be a Jake, but he just happened to look like Caesar Borgia. He said when he was on an interview, he said when he was on the cross, he was supposedly a Catholic. He was on the cross. He got struck while he was filming it. He got struck by lightning, and that scared the shit out of him. And he got more deeper into Roman Catholicism, which meaning he dug himself deeper into a hole. So he might be an Israelite. I would assume that he's an Israelite because he's of Italian descent. He may be Sicilian or Navalidan, whatever. Palermo, Sardinia.
They can't get just a regular white man. They got to look a particular way to mimic Cesar Borgia. Look him up. Read.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Meaning, if you don't worship the white man Jesus, they say you're going to hell.
Talking about the Roman system, the revised Roman system. When they built Rome, I did videos on it. I did one video where I went into it. I don't remember the video. I did it maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, let's say. If I find it, I'll put it in the description box. But in Maryland, there was a place called Rome, Maryland. The name it's a different name. I think it's, what is it, Prince whatever. Somebody help me out from the DMV. but it used to be called Rome, Maryland. DC is 3 states: Delaware, Virginia, and Maryland. That's why they call it the DMV. The DMV represents Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. And the Washington, D.C. was not built on Maryland, nor was it built on Virginia, nor was it built on Delaware, but it took a piece. It's 10 miles square, let's say. Like you have the Pentagon, that's in, if I'm not mistaken, that's in Langley, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you can go to Google and do the origins of DC. They'll give you the information. People down south, down in DC, call it the DMV. And so the place where they built, I believe, was the capital, was a place called Rome, Maryland. It was a marshland, and it was cut up into lots. When you build a house from the ground up, you go to the county building, and they give you a lot. So you want to build something, then they'll give you a lot. They give you a lot number. They give you the ID of the lot. Sometimes you build a house and it's over your neighbor's lot. So you get in good with your neighbor and you say, "Oh, please forgive me, I didn't realize it." They may say, "No, don't worry about it," Then they become good friends. Or they can say, "No, you got to tear your house down or tear the fence down and rebuild it," if they want to be assholes. So they were given a lot, and a lot number, and you used to be able to find it. It's hard to find now. May the force be with you in finding it. The lot number where DC was built is called Lot 666. What else? When you do a bird's eye view, you see the owl of Molech, which goes back to Bohemians. They have the Bohemian Grove out there in Sonoma County, California. The founding forefathers said, the architecture that we're going to use to build Rome is a ancient Roman architecture. All right? The 10 horns, which are now like 30 of them, but it's based upon 10, which is the EU, came to be by a council of Edomite men sitting on a round table. Was it a round table or a long square table? I forget. But anyway, they were all so-called white men, appeared to be Edomites, and it was called what was it called? Not the Club of Rome. It was called the Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of Rome. And at the Treaty of Rome, they put together the EU, which represents the 10 horns of the beast. The beast system is NATO and the EU. America is the woman that sat upon the scarlet-colored beast. So we're breaking it down to you, okay?
Well, that's what they tell you in your dope houses called Christian churches.
Yeah, the Christians say if you don't believe in the Messiah, you're going to burn in hell forever. But you guys are teaching the same thing. that if you don't know that you're an Israelite and you don't come up under the thing, and if you're not in the IUIC, if you're GMS, you're going to burn in hell. If you're ISUBK, you're going to burn in hell. If you're Shikari, and the leader Shikari bigs up the IUIC. But guess what? If they're correct, then the leadership of Shikari going to burn in hell. Everybody going to burn in hell. The only people that's going to be in the kingdom are members of the IUIC.
Read. What verse you in?
That was verse 15.
Read. Come on.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Now, if they just stop and look up words, which I said yesterday at the Speaking Outdoors, if they just stop and look up the word mark, they would understand that it's a physical thing. It's not an invisible thing. It's not a thought pattern. That's why they can't understand these scriptures, these prophetic scriptures, because they don't go and look up other words. And the Spirit's not dealing with them. They don't have the eye salve. They think they do, but they don't. And all he's doing, if he came, see, when the split came, he came to our school in Connecticut. He came to the Passover. He might have came more than once. And somehow we lost contact with him. And General Nate, Bishop Nate, whatever you want to call him that day, he wasn't, you know, the split came, he kind of went his way. Yahweh went his way. Yasha went their way. Went his way. Rahab went his way. All these guys went their own ways. A lot of the majority of them pretty much went back into the world. Maybe some of them that still believe they're Israel, but they're not on fire as prophets. Okay, so he was one of them. He wasn't with the house of David. He was kind of on his own. I believe it was the following year. He came up to our school, and he brought a young brother with him by the name of Asaph, Deacon Asaph. And Deacon Asaph told me, he said, that young brother that came with Yahweh, that was me. So he was real young. He had to be in his teens. Then somehow we lost contact with him. Then you had 2003, 2003. You had Bishop Nate, General Nate, set up the school. And I guess he was living in that vicinity in Brooklyn or whatever the case may be. Got in contact with him. And this is what Bishop Nate said. He said, when this guy rolled up on me, he said, yeah, I'm going to prove I got it now, Nate, that Cornelius is actually an Edomite. Bishop Nate. And this is Nate saying in one of the videos. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I can't find the video. This was years ago. This is more than 10 years ago. He said, nope. He said, nope. He said, believe it or not, Cornelius is an Israelite. So the Spirit wasn't dealing with this guy. And then he said, okay. Then he went with it. If Bishop Nate had a vision, because they believe they liken him as a god, if he had a vision that he was wrong, that the Lord came to me in a vision and showed me that it is the microchip, guess what? Yahweh gonna go ahead. Yeah, I can see it too. I can see Yahweh is simple. He's like Simple Jack and Rolling Thunder. He's Simple Jack.
That's what I was talking about earlier. In their right hand and in their forehead. Meaning to do sin and think sin. That's all it's talking about.
So, like I said, if you deal with any of the UIC members, ask them, did the Apostle Paul take the mark of the beast? Simple question.
Ain't talking about some microchip. That bull crap out of your head.
Let me bring this back.
All it's talking about. Ain't talking about some microchip.
All it's talking about ain't talking about some microchip. Okay? So you heard it, and if you're hard of hearing it and you can read, you can read it. So we got this on record. Matter of fact, let me take a shot of this. So, Bishop Nate can't jump up and say, If you listen to me closely, moron, you see that I said that not to take the microchip. I did say it. So we got receipts. So let me go ahead and take this. Okay. IUIC. MOTB. Yahweh Sap. Yahweh Sap. 1. So we got it. All it's talking about ain't talking about some microchip.
That bull crap out of your head.
That bull crap out of your head. He said that's so. He's taken away from the scriptures. Taken away from the scriptures. If you take away from the scripture, one scripture, Deuteronomy 4, take away from the law, add to the law. Proverbs 30, I believe that's the 5th verse. And Revelation 22, verse 18 and 19. Take away and add to. Add, take away, and add. Your name shall be taken away from the book of life. If your name is taken out of the book of life, you're gonna wind up in the lake of fire. They teach that the lake of fire is hell. So this guy, if that's true, which is not, he's not gonna burn in hell. He'll be good in the kingdom. He's just off. He's not gonna burn in hell. Bishop Nate's not gonna burn in hell. Edomites are not gonna burn in hell. So he's gonna wind up in the lake of fire if he doesn't repent. And we're gonna see what they're gonna do when it's actually manifest that they're breaking news. Everybody got to take the chip, or you're gonna get a disease, and we don't want you to. You say you don't want to take it. You don't care about the disease, but we're concerned about other people. You're being selfish, like they did with the sea ragamuffin. See, we see through all this bullshit. Every time we close the camp, I always have a talk, I don't say. I say what's on your mind, what's going on, what's happening in the news, what new thing has come up, and then you got brothers raise their hand. Then we might be there for 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes, sometimes a half an hour. Then the scriptures come out and so forth. So we can all be on the same page. So when people say, well, Tahar, you never said, no, that's bullshit. We're pretty much an open book. Okay? So you got agents that are among us, among all of the camps. And they're seeing, well, these guys, they come. What are they saying? Do they say anything? No, they say the same thing. They hit the scriptures, speak about current events. That's it. For you Donnie Brascos and you Jay Reeds out there, and some of them do become believers because it makes all the sense in the world. If you get into this thing, if you were an Edomite or Jake, Jake's not with this whole Hebrew Israelite thing. If they really watched the videos with an open mind and really studied and researched, study to show thyself approved, going to the Hebrew and the Greek and going to maps and going to history and filter history, the Gadites and why did they wear fringes. Guess what? If you open up your mind and you really studied this thing, you would say, oh wow, this is the truth. There was a scientist that wanted to debunk the fact that Ezekiel chapter 1 was talking about angels, that they were UFOs. Angels came down in UFOs, and he said, "I'm gonna do the research and show you that that's all BS." He did the deep research. You know what he came to the conclusion? He said, "Yup, Them are the angels. The angels came down in so-called UFOs. And this guy was a scientist. And I did videos on it, and he even wrote a book on that. He even wrote a book. Anybody knows where it is, you can bring it up and put it in the chat. All right? He tried to debunk the fact that these are not angels of the Most High. He came to the conclusion through deep research, not being simple and not being emotional. He said, he came to the conclusion, I'm saying it again, he came to the conclusion that, wait a minute, the angels are real. And they can come down in the form of men, come down in the form of angels, looking like monsters or whatever, looking like demons or whatever. Demons are nothing but angels on the left-hand side. And they can come down in vehicles called, which they call UFOs, UAPs. And the top brass of this government, these top elites, they know that the Lord's coming back in ships. He's going to be the head. He's going to have this head ship, which is the size of a mountain. And he's going to have Michael right behind him. Then you're going to have the rest of the angels behind them. And they're going to tear shit up. They're going to tear Babylon up and Israel. And they're going to destroy certain parts of the world, but they're not going to. The European Union nations, the NATO nations, are not going to be utterly destroyed. They'll be jacked up because of the earthquake. But everything's going to be built back up again, except for Babylon the Great. So let's listen to a little bit more. So you heard what he said. He said not about some microchip, that bull crap out of your head. So he said it with anger. Bruce Lee even said emotional content, not anger. You got anger. You got anger. You got angry. You should sit down and open your mind and say, why would Tahar and Kabar, and Tahar was in this thing before me. You know, Kabar been in this thing as long as I have been in this thing. And these guys are still out there teaching it. Let me do my own research to see if this is true. Let me go into some root words. We did a big thing on King James in the Bible, the original, and that's the question. The King James Bible, what year was it written? 1611. Half right. The original year that it was written. They don't know. You tell them 1604. Why was there another copy in 1611? Because they had to revise. They had to go back. They had to study and research for another 7 years to say we finally got it right. Then King James made a statement. I'm sorry. King James said that if I have the book, I don't have the book in front of me, but the Red Bible, it says, and then in the future there has to be a more precise breakdown of the interpretation. And we're doing it. All right? So let's listen to a little bit more, and then I'm going to close.
Ain't no microchip gonna make you sin. People stupid as hell.
What? But it's a sin to take the microchip. It's a sin to take the microchip. And you will be in a lake of fire if you're in America. I don't know what's going to happen to you if you got the chip and you're in another country. That's up to the Most High. But anybody that has a chip in America, there's this place called America, you will not make it in the ships. You will not escape.
The white man puts a thought in your mind to make you think that sin is pleasurable. And you end up thinking it and you end up doing it. That's the mark being in your head and in your hand.
So wait a minute. So the white man made King Solomon to put that in his brain? Huh? King David? Where's Esau at? Wait a minute. King David, he committed adultery with Bathsheba, and to continue to deal with that woman, he set her husband up to get killed. That's murder. That's a sin unto death. Adultery, that's a sin unto death. So where was Esau? The sacred book of David. Esau kept whispering in him, that's a fine-ass woman. yo, you gotta get with her. You gotta get. Where did not King David sin? Did not King Solomon sin? Did not all of the kings sin? Did we all sin? So that means a white man crept up on us and said, yeah, go ahead and get her. That's what that means. He's saying the only way you can sin, see how stupid this shit sounds? The only way you can sin is if Esau tells you to sin. He tells you to sin and you go ahead and sin. Come on now. Come on, dog.
Okay. So now, go to Ezekiel now.
You can't sin if there's no Edomites around. So I guess there was an Edomite in King David's back pocket. Go ahead, get it. Look at them big ditties. Look at them. Go ahead and get it, dog. Do what you do. See, when you analyze shit, you see how we're on the outside looking in. He's on the inside. He's in General Nate's world. See, once you come out of his world, then you can see things as they are, provided that you're an elect and the Most High gives you eye salve.
That was the 16th verse, right, that you just read, Revelation 13?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're going back to Esdras. I ain't done yet. I am still dealing with the horizon. Ezekiel chapter 9.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Now we're going to read about the right mark. Y'all all right?
And you notice, he said mark, and I said this yesterday. When did I say this? They'll look up the word mark in Revelation 13 and 16. Then they'll go, anywhere the word mark is, it means the same thing. Mark means mark. No, it does not. Now we're going to go into the right mark. So he's not breaking it down. He's doing a good soft shoe. He's doing a nice little tap dance. He's entertaining the people. The simple believeth every word. But he's wrong. This mark in the Old Testament, Ezekiel 9 and 4, is different from the mark in Revelation 13 and 16. Revelation 13, 16 is charagma. Root word is charax. Root word for charax is grapho. Ezekiel 9, what is it? Ezekiel 9:4. The mark is the mark is thawa, which means exempt from judgment. It's not an actual physical mark. It's a spirit that's over you. That don't the Most High said, this guy that has the, going back to the Passover, the blood on the doorpost, that was their mark, exempt from judgment. All right.
Read.
Ezekiel chapter 9 and 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry.
Why upon your forehead? Because upon your forehead is your brain, like we were talking about earlier. Frontlets. Read it again.
And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city.
This is the teachers. And the Lord said unto the teachers and the angels, go into the midst of the Israelites, Jerusalem. You. Go ahead.
Through the midst of Jerusalem.
To the midst of where the Israelites are. That's what we're doing. Go ahead.
And set a mark upon the foreheads.
Meaning repent. That's what we're doing. We're teaching you to repent. Put a mark upon your forehead. What is the mark? The commandments of God. Read.
Of the men that sigh and that cry.
But in order for you to get this mark, you have to be sighing and crying against drugs, against homosexuals, against lesbians, against...
Yeah, but there's people that are against, a lot of people that are not Israelites against all that stuff. You got to be the elect. You got to give the right word. You got these Kemetic people. You got the new Black Panthers. You got this group. You got that group. That they're against these things that you mentioned. They want drugs out the neighborhood. They don't like Mos, this, that, and the third. That doesn't make them the elect. The ones that's going to get that mark, Thawa, are the elect. Are the elect. Are the elect. Anyway, with that, I stop right here at 1:24:21. I may come back, but I think I made my point. With that, it's on to the next one. Shalom.